With his new job secured, Ilian knew it was time for the next challenge, finding a permanent home. Their temporary apartment was small and lacked the warmth of a true household. He sat with Mika, looking at a stack of housing magazines and brochures. "We need a place where you can have your own room, Mika," Ilian said. The German housing market was known to be competitive, but Ilian was prepared to be patient and persistent. The search began online. Ilian and Mika spent their evenings browsing property portals, looking for the right Kaltmiete, base rent, and Warmmiete, rent including utilities. Ilian learned that speed was essential. As soon as a listing appeared, he had to send a message. He carefully crafted a template in German, introducing himself, his profession, and his family, hoping to stand out to potential landlords among hundreds of other applicants. Ilian's neighbor Saskia stopped by to offer some crucial advice. "In Germany, you need a Bewerbermappe, an applicant folder," she explained. She showed Ilian how to organize his documents, copies of his ID, his last 3 salary statements, and a Mieterselbstauskunft form. Saskia emphasized that having everything ready in a neat binder would show landlords that he was a reliable and organized candidate. There was one more critical document Ilian needed, the Schufa-Auskunft. This credit report would prove to landlords that he had a good financial standing and no unpaid debts. He and Mika went to a local post office that offered the service. Ilian explained to Mika that this paper was like a report card for grown-ups, showing that they were responsible with their money. Ilian received his first invitation to a Besichtigung, an apartment viewing. When he arrived, he was shocked to see a long line of people stretching down the sidewalk. He realized this was a mass viewing. He stood in line near Alaric, another hopeful renter who looked just as nervous. "It's like a race," Alaric whispered. Ilian realized that in a big German city, he wasn't just looking for a house, he was competing for one. After several weeks and many rejections, Ilian felt discouraged. He and Mika sat in a local park, watching the sunset. "It's harder than I thought, Mika," Ilian admitted. He had seen beautiful apartments, but there were always dozens of other candidates. However, he remembered his journey to find a job. He knew that persistence was the only way forward. He squeezed Mika's hand, promising they wouldn't give up. Finally, Ilian received a call from Thilo, a real estate agent. Thilo had seen Ilian's well-prepared Bewerbermappe and was impressed by his steady employment. "I have an apartment that might fit your needs," Thilo said. He invited Ilian to his office to discuss the details. Unlike the mass viewings, this felt like a real opportunity. Thilo explained the house rules and the Hausordnung that all tenants had to follow. Thilo took Ilian and Mika to see the apartment. It was perfect. The rooms were filled with natural light, and there was a small park right across the street. Mika immediately ran to the window to look at the playground below. Ilian walked through the Einbauküche, fitted kitchen, checking the appliances. It felt like a place where they could truly belong and build their lives. Back at home, Ilian shared the news with Saskia. "I think we found it," he exclaimed. Saskia reminded him about the Mietkosten, the security deposit, which is usually 3 months basic rent. She explained that this money is held in a special account and returned when you move out. Ilian felt grateful for her guidance throughout the process. Having a friend who knew the local customs had made all the difference. A few days later, Ilian met Thilo one last time to sign the Mietvertrag, the rental contract. They went over the clauses about the notice period and small repairs. Once the ink was dry, Thilo handed over a heavy set of keys. Ilian held them in his hand, feeling their weight and their promise. He had found a home for himself and Mika. They were no longer just visitors, they were residents.